the whole thing about me doing music came because I was in jail, and during that time I was feeling a bit lost, you know, because my father had just passed away, and I was going through some very dark times. You know, I destroyed my life on so many levels. You know, I had just fought a 2-year case where they were trying to give me 7 years in prison because of really what I think the courts really are on some white supremacy shit, and they don't really fuck with people of color, you know what I mean? And they just wanted to make an example of me just because I'm a person of color, because I'm Mexican, because I'm Mexica. So I ended up getting locked up, and during this time I'm kind of doing some soul searching, and I'm thinking about like how I even ended up in jail and what happened, you know, what were the events that led me to fucking going to jail. And I'm sitting there, and I'm actually, at this point, I'm in bed, and I'm just sleeping, thinking about my life, and I have this surreal dream where my father appears to me in this dream. And my father, at this point, we kind of make amends with each other, because what happened, the day that my father died, me and him got in this really nasty fight, right? It was a nasty fight. I was like my father's caregiver at this moment. I had stopped working, and I was taking care of my father for 4 years straight, because my father was in a nursing home, and he didn't want to be there. He wanted to be home with his family, and he used to tell me, hey man, I want to go home, bring me home, like I don't want to be here no more. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it, you know? So I got him out of the nursing home, and I stopped working, and all I did was take care of my father. You know, I would make his dinner, I would make his food, I would bathe him and put his clothes on and take care of him, because he lost control of his entire body, you know? And my mother couldn't do it because she was really small and petite, and she couldn't really, you know, my dad was a big man, and my brothers were all going to school and all this stuff and working, so I decided to be my father's nurse. And during this time, it kind of wore on me, man, and it was very difficult for me, but I stuck with it. And like, at the moment, I didn't realize how difficult it was for my father also to have his son, you know, take care of him in the way that I was, you know, like he became my child, you know, so the roles were turned. You know, it's trying on both of us. You know, my father would soil himself, and I would have to clean him up, you know, and I didn't realize at the moment. I mean, I knew that he had lost control of his body, but for whatever reason, I didn't take it into consideration to the point where, like, I really wasn't allowing myself to put myself in his shoes. You know, I just was doing it for selfish reasons, because I wanted him to look at me and say, yo, man, look at my son, he's looking out for me, you know. And I realized I'm a very selfish person in that way. I always do things, I help people just because it makes me feel good. I don't help people because I like helping people. I only help people because it makes me feel good to help. So in that way, it's kind of a selfish act, even though people are like, yo, that dude looked out for me, and I don't really want anything in return. I just like feeling good, you know. So I was looking out for my pops just because it was making me feel good, but then it weighed on me, and it got to the point where things became very difficult. And one of the last moments that we got in this heavy fight was my father had soiled himself, and I had been asking him to let me know in advance when he soiled himself, so I can clean him, so you know he wouldn't get rashes, and so just I was trying to look out for him. I was like, Dad, he soiled himself, I could smell it on him, and I was like, yo, Pops, I told you every time you soil yourself, you gotta give me a heads up so I can clean you, so you don't get a rash on your skin, and you know, and then it starts spreading all over your body, and I'm all, you gotta help me, you know. So I undress him, and I make him a bath, and I clean him, and then he goes in for the kill, you know, and he's like, you're a little faggot, the only reason you like taking care of me is because you like washing me, and you like touching my dick and all this. And I'm like, really, Dad? I'm like, you think this brings me pleasure, fucking, you know, cleaning your soiled fucking body, like full of shit? I'm all like, it makes me want to vomit, but I love you, you're my dad, and that's why I do these things. He's like, oh no, you do these things because you're a little fucking faggot. And it fucking just did something to me where like I came undone. So I grabbed my dad, man, I picked him up, and I put his clothes on him really rough, like I was manhandling him, right? I grabbed him, I slammed him on the bed, you know, and I said some nasty things to him. I was like, fuck you, fuck, I hope you die, you don't fucking, you're ungrateful, you don't appreciate everything that I've done, I sacrificed my life, I don't even got a fucking chick, I don't do nothing but fucking follow you around and make your fucking food. fuck you. And I took off and I called some of my old homies and I went and got high with these dudes, right? Got real high with them. And I hadn't been fucking with shit for a while. I got high with these dudes and then my mom calls me. My mom's like, where you at? And I'm like, fuck, I left. I left the house, man. Fuck this shit. I can't fucking be around my dad no more. I hope he dies, you know? I'm fucking sick of this shit. And my mom's like, well, you got your wish, you know? And I fucking lose my mind and I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, you got your wish. I fucking I'm faded, get in my car, drive over back to the house, and my dad died, right? So when I left him alone in the house, and my dad vomited, and he choked on his vomit, and he died, and I was supposed to be taking care of my dad. So I lost it, right? I lost my mind, I went crazy, I became self-destructive, I went in heavy. I was already a gang member, but then I really went in heavy because I wanted a punishment, right? I wanted somebody to kill me because I didn't have the balls to take my own life. So I was like, well, fuck it. If I bump into a motherfucker who's better than me, maybe he'll take my life. So then I started getting in fights with really big ass fools, fucking getting in gunfights back and forth. But I fucking lived through it all, right? Like it was like my anger was so big that I always dominated whatever I went after, right? So finally I got in a situation, a couple of white folks, you know what I'm saying, where they actually, what had happened, they attacked me. My father, I had just buried my father. And I was at a bar and I ran into a couple people. I was by myself. I was just drinking by myself. I ran into a couple friends. They came up. We started talking. They came to give me their condolences because they knew my father and they were like, hey man, we heard about your old man. Just wanted to come and, you know, just say that we're sorry. And then, you know, if there's anything you need, I'm like, cool. During this time, there's a group of people, you know, sitting next to my table. For whatever reason, they decided to target me and they started mouthing off to me. As they start mouthing off to me, I'm kind of not feeling it, right? Because I just left my dad's funeral, so I'm like, yo, man, leave me alone. Like, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Like, you just back off. And this bitch kept running her mouth, right? So finally, I say a couple words to her, and I pulled some chick. I was with some chick, and the chick started defending me too. She started, backing me up and talking to the girl that was, you know, saying disrespectful things to me, just telling her to mind her own business. At this point, her boyfriend comes out of the bathroom. He's this big ass dude. He comes up to me and he's like, yo, you're exchanging words with my chick. And I was like, yeah, man, you need to put a muzzle on that bitch. You know, she has a mouth on her and, you know, I'm over here minding my own business and I don't know what her deal is. But, you know, as soon as I called her a bitch, homeboy hits me in the face. We start fighting. We go at it. He's a big ass dude. So he's kind of fucking me up. So, you know, I grab whatever's on the table and I start throwing at him, throwing it at his people and whatever. I end up throwing a bottle, breaking this chick's arm. Cops come, and because in the past I've been in fights with police officers, you know, because I have a criminal record and I've been to jail for violence. So when the cops came, even though I was technically just defending myself, when the cops came, they arrested me, you know, because I'm Mexican and because I'm covered in tattoos and because I have a fucked up record. And they and you know, they were like, oh, we're the victims, and this guy is you know, has a horrible record, and I got locked up, you know, and they were trying to charge me with this crazy shit. Next thing you know, I lost my case. I went from defending myself to fucking getting locked up. So at this point, I'm in jail, man. And while I'm in jail, I'm thinking about everything that just happened. I'm thinking about my dad. I'm thinking about the scenario that occurred, and I'm feeling like there's no justice, right? I'm feeling like, damn, man, like, how the fuck did I end up here, man? I was just defending myself, you know? And while I'm having these thoughts, I go to bed, right, with these thoughts in my mind, and my dad appears to me in this dream, and it's as real as this. It was very, very real to me. And in this dream, my father and I went to his favorite restaurant, and we ate and we spoke, and you know, he forgave me. And he's like, yo, man, like, stop beating yourself over this. Like, I love you. You're my son. I'm fucking proud of you. It's time for you to live your life. Stop living your life for us, for the family. Like, you know, you've made so many sacrifices for us and for those that you care. Start making some sacrifices for you, man. Like, I love you. You're my son. Like, I'm proud of you. And that's something that my dad never said to me in real life. You know what I'm saying? But he said it to me in this dream, and it felt so real that when I woke up, I didn't know which was what, right? I didn't know if the dream was real or me being in jail was a dream, right? Because it was so vivid. And then it took me a few minutes to adjust, and then I was like, oh wait, I'm in jail. This is reality. this is actually real. And that dream with my father, you know, that was something else. But it washed everything off of me, right? That cross that I was carrying with me, I was finally able to put it down. I didn't have to drag it anymore with me. And I changed my life that minute, man. I woke up and I was a different person. I started working out, doing push-ups. I got on my game. I started writing. I wrote a book. And I was like, yo, what are my dreams and my desires? And I was like, yo, I want to do music. You know, that's what I really want to do. And I started thinking about everything that occurred and about who I am as a person. And I realized that I had issues, that I have problems with violence, that I was, you know, someone that had problems, you know, real problems. And then I started remembering about all the therapy that I started going as a kid. When I was a kid, I beat some dude up with a bat in front of my mom, right? And when I did that, my mom got completely freaked out by it and was like, yo, my son is insane. So my mom, being poor, she just started asking around the community and was able to find a couple like free therapists in the neighborhood that would come and see me. So then I would go see these therapists, and during these sessions, that's really where I learned how to communicate and learn how to speak. Because in school I didn't do well in school, right? And so my education came from going to therapists at a very young age, and that's how I was introduced to hypnosis. And so at this point, the therapist started hypnotizing me so that I can control my emotions. And while I was in jail, I remembered that, and I was like, yo, when I get out of jail, because I have 2 strikes, and I know that I can't control my anger. I know if someone steps to me, I'm gonna go jump in, right, full blown. And I'm known, and I was known in my neighborhood for, like, I'm not a dude that's just gonna go one-on-ones with you. I'm gonna stalk you. I'm gonna come at you from the shadows, and next thing you know, you got a knife to your face. You know what I mean? And I was notorious, like, yeah, I'll catch a fade with you too, because I wasn't no punk, but it wasn't gonna end there, you know? And I knew that about me, and I was like, listen, man, I'm gonna end up right back in this place. I have 2 strikes. I don't want to be, my cousin's doing life in prison. My cousin Wicked, you know, he's in Pelican Bay. My best friend Smurf is doing a life sentence too, you know, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to be like them. I don't want to end up in prison. So when I got out of jail, before I even jumped into I started doing music, but I decided to go to school for hypnosis. So while I'm in school for hypnosis, I started studying frequencies and how you can use frequencies to hypnotize people. So as I'm creating music and going to school for hypnosis, I started introducing hypnosis into my album. So my first album, SD Killwave, is really created from a theory called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. So my entire album from Dog to God was created with neuro-linguistic programming, and that's why it became such a success, and why people can listen to my album, and before any song is finished, halfway through the song, the person already knows all the lyrics, because that's what I was studying. I was studying hypnosis. That's one of the things that really I started doing with my music. I started introducing hypnosis, and I do that in my videos. It's very subliminal and it's very subtle, but those are the tools that I've used to create music. But that's something I haven't spoken about before, you know, but we're doing it here now because I know that, you know, you were interested in that, and we were talking about frequencies, and the next album that I'm working on, how I'm gonna use these frequencies that are actually gonna help people feel empowered and feel fulfilled, instead of the frequencies that are used today to make music, which is frequencies that Hitler actually introduced to the industry, and what the entire industry uses in order to tune their instruments. That's why when you listen to music today, you feel empty, because they wanted to create consumers. So it's like, what's the next song? What's the next? You listen to a song, you feeling it for a little bit, and you're like done with it. You know what I'm saying? And then you move on. That's because the frequencies that they're using now to create music leave you empty, leave you wanting more. They turn you into a consumer. So on my next EP, Olmec Magic, I want to introduce the divine scale, which will allow the listener, which it'll be underneath, it'll be the foundation, then the beats, then the lyrics. But the undertone, the divine scale, will be the foundation of this new EP that I'm working on, that's actually going to empower the listeners.
Apparently she flipped on us, wanted to get out of there ASAP, didn't want anything to do with the bus, so she tried to tell the cops that we were harassing her. That's the first time I've ever been on the other side of a woman saying something that you didn't do. That shit's terrifying. Now I know what people feel like when they get accused of something from a woman, because, man, it's your word against hers. And we're a bunch of dudes on a bus out here touring looking like how we look.
I come back over, and the dude is getting up. He's getting up. I'm talking about covered in blood, can't breathe. He starts getting up, wow, falling back down. And he gets up on his knees, and he's like, ah, ah. It looked like something out of a movie.
He was the artist, but now he's in a different position now. So the later he gets in his career, he's more business now. He's switched off. He's more thinking business. He wants to be that billionaire, and he's gonna get it.
Because I feel that I had confusion about that. I felt like, you know, I gotta go through time and come out and be tatted in the face in order for people to respect me. I would tell myself that a man that takes care of his family is more important than a man that's out there hurting people.